All right, folks, let's get this show on the road. We will start this event the way we start all of the good events around here, with a prayer. So with that, please welcome to the stage Father Jeff Smilek.
I'm all right, I'm gonna try. Thank you and good evening, angels and hilltoppers. It's a great event that we can all gather this evening. And so we begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Loving God, we gather on this great celebration of the Hilltopper Banquet. It is a wonderful time for members of the JCA community to gather and have fun with one another around sports. Sports can teach us much about the Christian life. St. Paul tells us in his letter to the Corinthians, "Do you not know that the runners in the stadium all run in the race, but only one wins the prize? Run so as to win. Every athlete exercises discipline in every way. They do it to win a perishable crown, but we an imperishable one. Thus I do not run aimlessly. No, I drive my body and train it, for fear that after I have preached to others, I should find myself disqualified." May we always train our bodies and souls to be of service to you and to our brothers and sisters. Lord, bless our time together, bless the food that we have shared, and most of all, Lord, bless JCA. Our Lady of Mount Carmel, St. Francis of Assisi, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.
Good evening, everybody. Why don't we give a round of applause for the prayer here? I know we wanted to do it. I thought I was the only person that ever clapped for prayer and felt weird, so thank you all for doing that. My name is Matt Szymanski. I'm the Alumni Board President, and I am a graduate of a class in 1998. Welcome, everybody. This is a great crowd. This is a good-looking crowd. Give yourselves a round of applause here. Very good. We have about 600 people here tonight, so this is, from the view up here, this is amazing. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's such a great event. It's a great thing to have the speakers that we do coming up here tonight, and just to see so many new faces out here. I want to give several thank yous here and recognize a handful of people. I will be quick because I know nobody came here to hear me talk, but before we get going, I'd like to recognize my fellow Alumni Association board members. So if you can, I'm just going to read off your names and just give a quick wave. I want to thank my vice president here, Maura Dunn, class of 1995. Treasurer John Quinn, 1986, JCA Jets grad. Secretary Matt Adler, 2008. Our past president, Jeff Phelan, class of 1986. Rob Bailey, class of 1990. Jackie Gillespie Horvath, class of 82. I will say, anybody that hung their coats up, you don't understand what kind of pain, what kind of accountability partner Jackie was with getting those coat racks up. Bless her heart. That was the only thing that needed to happen tonight, according to Jackie. Lauren Last, 2004. Warren Lindsay, there you go. Warren Lindsay, class of 1999. Dan Mihelich, class of 1984. And Amanda Klotz Quinn, class of 1998. So thank you, everybody, for the help here. I also want to recognize a few of our the staff here tonight. So any of the JCA administration or staff, if you could please take a stand here and take a small bow here. Take a stand. I saw Jaws out there. We have a handful of people here. Perfect. So the other group I want to mention, and if you guys wouldn't mind taking a quick stand, I'd greatly appreciate it. We have a handful of very important people here this evening. Sister Dolores Amant, who is a Joliet Franciscan and JCA Board of Members. Thanks. We have Father Jack Welch, Carmelite, and also a JCA Board of members. We have JCHS grad from '96, Joliet City Councilman Pat Mudrin. St. Francis grad, 1987, Senator Jennifer Bertino Tarrant. I apologize for that. The Joliet Park District Board President, St. Francis, class of 1981. I apologize. Sue Goulas. United States Attorney for the Illinois Northern District, class of 88, JCHS, John Lausch. And also somebody I had mentioned already, our Will County City Board Chief of Staff, Maura Dunn, class of 1995. So in addition to that, I want everybody to know that any event that you come to, whether it's tonight, whether it's our golf outing, or any other event that we do from the Alumni Association standpoint, we make a point to make sure that every single dollar goes back into the JCA community. So buy beers, buy raffle tickets, which, by the way, we will be drawing the raffle prizes. We won't be announcing them, but there will be a sign with the numbers written outside, so please check there for the winners. And then, assuming you're a winner, find Sue Bebar, myself, or any of the other board members I had mentioned. Also want to mention our volunteers. We have a ton of them out there, but let me make a side note too, a little householding item here. We'll have a couple of volunteers, some of the moms coming helping out, more for the front half of the room here. If you need a beer, raise your hand here. We want to make sure that you're able, all right, I see it over here. We want to make sure that your focus is up front here as much as we can tonight, so take advantage of the service out here. We also have some great vendors here tonight. I want to thank Brad Huditz of Smokehouse, Station 1 Smokehouse. He did a hell of a job with the food tonight. Give him a round of applause. We also had Will County Brewery. Jamie, take a little bow there. And then we also have Bart Kemp, Lakeshore Beverage, Kano, the man that goes by one name, Blue Ribbon, and Mike Kaloje of Kozel Brothers. A little water. I also want to thank our sponsors here. Without their help, we couldn't do this event tonight. And like I said, we couldn't give back to the community like we do. I want to thank my colleagues at Edward Jones, Mark Carner, Warren Lindsay, Ed Dollinger, and myself. Take a stand here. Also want to thank Darcy Motors, Mike Brancheski of Northwestern Mutual. Here you go, Dan Mihelich of First Midwest Bank, and Theo J. Gorski School Bus Company. Give a round of applause for everybody. I do want to make a point, where are you going, Sue? You got to come up here in a second. No. I want everybody to be prepared to sing happy birthday here in a few moments, which I'm going to get the finger here, so I'm just going to be honest, but it was your birthday. So I do want to give a very special thanks to the Goulas family, but even more specific, Sue Goulas. Sue does an amazing job. I know most people in the room has worked with Sue, but if we can give Sue a round of applause, and I don't know where Sue is, but. And speaking of Sue Bebar, Sue Rudiger Bebar, class of 1990, if you could come up here, I would like to introduce you to the crowd. Give a round of applause for Sue here. Sue? Well, we at least we have to do 50-50 drawing at least, so there you go. There's a lot of money to count. Well, Sue, I do want to give an introduction or an insight of what we're going to see tonight. Obviously, we have three amazing speakers. We have Mark Grant, who's running the show. We have Tom Thayer and Mike Allsett. So give our speakers a round of applause, if you wouldn't mind. You're doing a great job. Okay. I also want to let everybody know the format's going to be a little bit different tonight. After the completion of having the three speakers up, we will have a documentary at the end, and I have to give Sue Bebar a ton of credit and also Derek Matichek for a ton of work that they've done. The amount of work that has gone into it, thinking about this is a 100-year anniversary of the football program, and to try to fit everything in, our goal was to have the video be about 5 minutes long. There's no way we could fit 100 years in 5 minutes here. So we have about a 20-minute documentary. It's going to be a 30 by 30 type video at the end here, but it's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to it here, but I do want Sue, you should come up here. Because let's give Sue a round of applause here. Bring her up here. Bring her up here. We won't sing happy birthday, but if you see her, just make it awkward and sing happy birthday right to her face. But why don't you say thank you?
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Really, it means a lot. I've told the gentlemen that are here as our featured speakers how much it means to the Joliet Catholic community, and your show of support totally gives that testament. So thank you all for taking the time and coming out on a cold, wintry Thursday night. We appreciate having you. We hope to see you every year.
Stay up here. There you go. Nice. One last thing, another household item I want to let everybody know. You will see those 7-Up bottles. Oh, Sue. I just saw Sue Gillis there finally. There you go. The centerpiece is in there. Please, everybody feel free to fight over whoever is going to take that 7-Up bottle. I do ask that you leave those sticks in there. I don't know what you're going to do with those if you take them home, so we prefer if you leave them here. But without further ado, our president and principal at JCA could not be here tonight. He is out of town for work, but we do have a video from Dr. Jeffrey Buds here, and just giving you a quick update of some of the projects that have been completed here at JCA and some of the projects that are in the works. So if you could focus your attention to the video board here for the next few minutes, we're going to watch this, and then we will have the main attraction coming up. So thank you guys very much. Buy beers, buy raffle tickets. Have a good evening.
Good evening and welcome to Joliet Catholic Academy's Hilltopper Banquet. We are so glad you're here with us tonight. I am Jeff Buds. I am the president and principal here at Joliet Catholic Academy, and it brings me great pleasure to welcome you to this great event. I'd like to start with a couple of thank yous. Thank you to our Alumni Association, to our alumni director, Sue Bebar, Matt Szymanski, our alumni president, for hosting this event for such a great cause for JCA. And this is a special year. We are celebrating 100 years of JCA, JC football, and what a great event to have this celebration. With that goes a couple more thank yous to Tom Thayer and Mike Allstott for making time to be here tonight. I'm sure with Mark Grant, it'll be a spectacular show later on. But once again, we are so happy that you can be here. Many great things are happening here at JCA with all our renovations to our school. Recently, our new chapel, our Innovation Research Center, which will be done in the fall of 2020. And then on the horizon, we have plans for a new lacrosse and soccer and football turf field out in the back, along with more renovations to our facilities in the back. So we are very excited about all the things that are happening here at JCA. I'd like to apologize for not being there tonight. I am in Arizona at this time at a meeting for the Carmelite High Schools. And also we have an alumni event that Mr. John Horn and I are attending in Scottsdale. So there is an alumni connection out that way also. We have alumni all over the United States, and we'd like to talk to everybody. So have a great time tonight. Once again, thank you so much for all the support of Joliet Catholic Academy.
Good evening, everybody. Coach Sharp still has trouble with technology. It's so great to see everybody here today. I'm the athletic director, Dan Sharp, and I'm going to ask you guys a favor. I would like all the men here tonight that have been a part of one of the greatest high school football traditions in the country, who are part of the 100-year history. All you guys that have played or coached or contributed to the football program in any way, to please stand up and be recognized. Would all you football guys please stand up? There's something special about the boys in brown. It's all around us. the banners, the trophies, but the best part is the emotion in the room tonight. We're all brothers. We're all Hillmen. You know, there's a certain way we do things here at Joliet Catholic. It was taught to us by many. Father Tim, who's here tonight, when he was principal, and he gave a speech after a football championship and said, "We stand on the shoulders of those that came before us." I think we all felt that we stood on the shoulders of those who came before us, our teachers, our coaches, the Carmelites, the Franciscans. Yeah, there's something special about the boys in brown. And I was fortunate that I was able to be part of this program over a series of 4 decades. In the 70s, I was a teammate, one of the greatest classes of all time, the class of '74. In the 80s, I was assistant coach, where I worked with so many great men, great mentors for me, many of them here today, and great colleagues. And then in 1997, I was Sister Faith, Father Tim, and they asked me to come back and coach here at Joliet Catholic as head coach for 20 years. And I got to coach with some of the most wonderful men, great teachers who cared about those kids, and I coached so many wonderful, wonderful players. We were all Hillmen. And there was a man that took Joliet Catholic football into the modern era, Coach Gordy Gillespie, who was my coach, my boss, and my friend. Not only was he an innovator in the game and an amazing sports psychologist, how he could get us ready to play. We were always prepared. We always played above our potential, and we believed we could beat anyone. That is Joliet Catholic. And today, as we go on to the next 100 years, there's generation of Hillmen that are standing on your shoulders. There's a standard here, the standard you set. There's a tradition second to none that these young men respect. It's the tradition you built. My goal when I came here was that when we walked on the field, you'd be proud of us. Gordy'd be proud of us. Our Lord would be proud of us. Because we played every down, all out, every play, like Coach said. We never give up. We never ever give up. And we love each other and put our teammates ahead of ourselves. Yes, there's something special about the boys in brown. And as we move into the next 100 years, we have a group of young coaches that are doing an amazing job. From the varsity staff to the freshman staff, every one of them has either played at Joliet Catholic or played for Gordy at St. Francis. They know the Hillman way. They will carry on your tradition. The players that come in will know about your history and will take the field and make us all proud. There's no doubt in my mind. So as us old timers are ready to move on, we turn it over to Coach Jaworski, his staff, to continue this great success that you have started. You know, Joliet Catholic is marching onward in the next 100 years, but not just in football. Our academic excellence. Last year's graduating class earned $18 million in college scholarship offers. A school our size, $18 million. Unbelievable. At a time where the parochial schools and the Catholic schools and the parishes, our numbers are dwindling. We have a young man at admissions, Ryan Quigley, whose father graduated in the 70s from here. No excuses. He brought in a freshman class of almost 180 from 41 different school communities. We're expanding our community and creating diversity in our student body. Dr. Buds mentioned what we're doing with the physical plant and how we're improving not only the academic end but the athletic end, thanks to our development director, John Horn, and our administration. Great things are happening here at Joliet Catholic. I am so proud to have been part of this great football program. It's been an honor to be the coach here. But as Joliet Catholic marches on to the next 100 years, one thing we know for sure, that Joliet Catholic is marching onward to victory. Go Hillman. I'd like to bring up a special guest here to get us kicked off and set the table for our guest speakers, our outstanding speakers. When I started here, he's our one-man marching band. Give it to him, Ed Perriou.
If they know the words, let them sing. And if you know the words, sing them loud and proud.
Ed Perriou, class of 1970. He's celebrating his 50th this fall. When I started at Joliet Catholic, Ed would play after every score. One year we broke the scoring record, and I think Ed sprained a lip. But the band played on. He's a Hillman, he never gave up. It is my honor to bring out our MC tonight. This young man was one of the finest athletes to wear the Hillman Brown. Tremendous baseball player. The greatest baseball game I ever saw was Mark pitched against Joliet West in '81. He threw a perfect game. 7 innings, 21 batters, 21 outs. But that wasn't the half of it. 20 of those 21 outs, Mark struck him out. 20 strikeouts, amazing. He went on to be drafted 10th overall by the San Francisco Giants, and had a wonderful career in Major League Baseball. And then he was even more successful in his second career when he became broadcaster and analysis for the Padres baseball team, working with the legendary, late great Dick Enberg. Why is Mark so popular in his job at broadcasting? It's very simple. He knows the game. But what makes him popular is he makes it fun. He makes baseball fun. And if anybody knows Mark, no matter what mood you've been in or how you're feeling, you spend a couple minutes with him and you're smiling and you're laughing. Mark can deliver a joke just like he did his 95-mile-an-hour fastball, right on the spot. It is my pleasure to introduce one of Joliet Catholic's favorite sons, and from the class of 1981, our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Mark Grant.
Sharpie, you're much better. Love you, man.
You're the best, buddy. Thank you. There you go. Take it. It's my hot mic.
Thanks, Coach. By the way, there's 2 titles to me that are the most endearing that anyone could be called. One is Coach, and one is Dad. My dad's here tonight, Larry. My mom is here tonight, Sue. Oh, you can clap for her too. And they've been married. They just had their 63rd wedding anniversary. Yeah. And my dad said 25 of them been happy. So great. Congratulations, Dad. That's great. So much to say, so much to do tonight, so I'll get right to it. I'm really honored to be here tonight. Once again, invited by the board to be your MC tonight. The reason why I feel so honored is because back in the day when my dad took me to this thing, Mike Pyle from the Bears emceed it, and I thought it was a really big deal. And to find myself up here to do this, to talk to 2 great NFL players makes it even more special. But I want to recognize some people in the crowd tonight that are very near and dear to me because they are part of the JCA family. So it's great that they're here because they're good friends, and it's always to see them here. But the oldest alums in attendance, they're wise, they have tons of knowledge, and we should recognize them. One of my favorites from the class of '42, Mr. Bob Long. Mr. Long, where are you? Awesome. There he is. His son Barrett is here. I remember going to St. Jude's and Mr. Long was the 8th grade coach. I was so intimidated by him. He was so mean the way he coached. From the class of 49, Mr. Tom Carberry. Mr. Carberry, where are you? Welcome. From the class of 49 also, Mr. Bob Stephen. Mr. Stephen. This next gentleman, I graduated with his son. He graduated, his father in the class of 49. I graduated with his son, Bobby. Jim Clementi. Mr. Clementi. Welcome. And from the class of 1950, Mr. Gordon Kinsler, if you'd be recognized. Mr. Kinsler. Thank you. And you know what's great is that we have all classes here pretty much recognized. The youngest alum in attendance from the class of 18, 2000, not 1918, he'd be recognized earlier. Thomas Pritz from 2018. Thomas, where are you? Also, which is cool, is the classes that come here and have an abundance of classmates attending. The leader this year, from 1992, the class of one of our guests, Mike Allstott, 25 classmates. Where are you guys at? Where are you, right here? Just keep it down, all right? Just keep it down. From one of my, you know what, 81's my favorite class, but I think this is my second favorite class because I was really close with these guys. And I say this every year, and I'm gonna say it again. Just look for the cloud of smoke over the table in 1980. 23, 20, yeah, give it up, guys. Hey, Nuzzy, are you awake? Class of 81, my class, 14 people are here. So class is welcome. Yeah, Rocket, yeah. We've got some people from out of town, the great state of Kansas. Feel like I'm at like a convention. Hey, the state of Kansas, are you recognized? Who's from Kansas? I was told there's people from Kansas here. So Dorothy didn't make it, okay. The great state of Kentucky. Really? Sue Goulis, I've got an issue with you. Nobody has been recognized from the state of Kansas or the state of Kentucky. Let's try Arizona. Who's here from Arizona? That's awesome. Nobody from Arizona. How about Florida, the great state of Florida? More swampland in the land of Florida, by the way. Florida's here. All right. Hey, how about the state of Georgia, the Peach State? Okay, whatever. All right. A dear friend of mine is here. He was recognized in the second class of the Academy of Coaches at Lewis University. I love this guy dearly. Jack Szymanski. Where are you, Ski? Ski. Okay, for everybody who knows what I'm going to do here, I want you to stand up and join me in cracking off. Jack Szymanski, Jack Szymanski, Jack Szymanski. Come on, class of 80, stand up and crack off. How many guys got in trouble for cracking off in class? I remember it was Bill Telford taught English. Some guy would crack off. Hey, no cracking off. Get back to Longfellow. You know, I think it's great what JCA has done here at the school. And it's great because his years of service here, 50 years of service here, and they erected a statue of this gentleman, Jim Borello. Oh, I'm sorry, that is Jim Borello. Where's Jim? Oh, I'm sorry, that is Jim Borello. Sorry, Jim. How are you? I got a great story about Jim. Whenever I come back and visit the school, I make a point to stop by his class. What do you teach, biology? Yes, photosynthesis, chinch bugs, manganese, whatever is the crap that you teach. That 99.9% of the people in this room have no idea or utilize it in their life whatsoever. So I walk in their class and Jim goes, oh, this is Mark. He graduated in 1981 and he did this and he did that and he did this. So I'll say hi to the class. Hey, you know, what a great school. Mr. Borello knows what he's talking about. You know, it's just a great class. And I say, I want to wish everybody luck in your high school career. You're getting a great education. Have a great day. And I start to walk out, and then I'll stop by, oh, one more thing. And I'll look him in the eye, I'll go, I never have to go to school again. Have a good day. So, Jim, good to see you. 50 years. Yeah, that's all you got to say, 50 years. We're here for 100 years of football. I think it's great. It's unbelievable if you think about it. And briefly, I'm just going to go quickly about some memories for me. You ask any kid, any woman, man or child, whatever the case may be, what their wheelhouse is for sports, it's probably when they're in the 6th or 7th grade to when they're 18 years old. Is that fair to say? I mean, you look at that in your childhood, in your life, there's probably a team which you loved during that time or players that you kept in time, right? 1975, I was in 7th grade. You guys know this? First year they had the victory light on the helmet. Did you guys know that? You do now. I remember watching guys, the greats of Mark Parker, Rick Thayer, Mike Brown, Dave Benigni, Eric Beltshoover, the playoffs. The one game that sticks out, Hillcrest, the safety. Remember the safety game? Down 2014 in their own territory. Gordy takes the safety. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Free kick, puts them down in their territory. They end up winning 2016. That's one of the games that sticks out for me. Their defense against the Springfield Griffin there, 28 yards. Their first state championship that game, that year, which was great. That's a memory for me. 1976, 8th grade, Dan Pezzavento, Rick Thayer, Eric Beltshoover. Rockford Boylan, the drive. Late in the 3rd quarter, it was scoreless. Gordy went 4th and 2, and he failed. He didn't fail, but the team failed. They didn't get it. Rockford Boylan scored 7. The hill comes down. They score 6. What do? No kicker. Dan Pezzavento to the late, great Tim Mackey, and the opposite side of the end zone. They ended up winning the game 8-7. Was that one hell of a game or what? That was an unbelievable game. I was in the 8th grade. I remember that game. So many greats on that team. Freshman year, 1977, outscored the opponents that year 394-46. That's right. One time, a margin of victory was fewer than 10 points. 3 Tyrrells were on that team. Timmy, Tommy, and Mike. Dave Avens was the quarterback. Yeah. Also, my freshman year, I got suspended. Championship number 3. 1978. The Stonewall defense. Mark Morrell was quarterback. Defense was unbelievable that year. And you remember in the playoffs, the opponents did not score a point in 4 games. They held the opponents scoreless on their way to state championship number 4. Another memory. My senior year, 1980, thanks to Tom Bannon, Mark Checky, Craig Lennon, Nick Giannetti, Joe Whalen, Mike Robb, Bob Turrell, we sucked. 5-4, thanks guys. All those championships, way to represent, bro. That's awesome. But we're getting old, and life is good. Life is good because we're here tonight. And for the youngsters here tonight, yeah, getting old is a you-know-what. It can get... The nose hair starts to grow. The ear hair starts to grow. 3 times during the night you're going to the bathroom. You're passing gas involuntarily. AARP card comes in the mail. Don't get me started on what happens in your yearly physical. Wearing pants higher and higher. Next year my pants are going to be up to here, all right? But you get old, but it's the stories that ring through and through each and every year and makes it great. So with that said, I shared my memories. These 2 gentlemen out here are going to share their memories. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2 JCA greats, Mr. Tom Thayer and Mr. Mike Allstott. Welcome. All right, Tom. Well, hold that thought, Tommy.
All right.
So, I want to introduce these guys. First guest, the A-Train, class of 92, 12-year career with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Went to Purdue. He's a Boilermaker. The Ring of Honor in Tampa Bay. Purdue Intercollegiate Athletics Hall of Fame. Indiana Football Hall of Fame. He had 12 touchdowns as a sophomore, 14 as a junior, 11 as a senior. MVP at Purdue, 3 straight seasons. Super Bowl champ, number 37 against Oakland in 2003. 6-time Pro Bowler. 3 times first-team All-Pro. Once again, from the class of 1992, Mike Allstott. And we have Tom Thayer. So, Mike, I'll start with you. Talk about...
I agree with you.
Tommy,
That's why I wasn't laughing.
Tommy, you know I love you. You're awesome.
Thanks.
Tommy was 2 years ahead of me. He was somebody I looked up to on the gridiron. We all know him, his resume, 1985 Super Bowl champs with the Bears. It was great. Played a little, we're going to talk about this too, a little bit in the USFL. So your track to the NFL was quite a unique one, so we're going to get into that too. Right now he's an analyst for WBBM Radio for the Bears. Of course, went to Notre Dame. He was on 2 state championship teams back-to-back. 13-0 both seasons for Tommy. And in 1978 that year, they outscored the opponents 106 to nothing in the playoffs, which I mentioned. Played for Dan Devine and Jerry Faust, right?
Yep.
1981 Sugar Bowl versus Georgia. Honorable All-American at Notre Dame. And graduated turning on the sprinkler system at the football stadium.
Took that job from Rudy.
A guy I dearly love. Welcome back, Tom Thayer.
Thank you.
Tell everybody what you told me in my ear when you came up here.
Well, I heard you say that you got suspended your freshman year.
Yes.
So did I. And I'm not proud of it, but...
I am.
So I'll throw some names out there. It was like me, Kevin Cotto, Tom Fasinelli, some other guys. We got some booze and we drank before a high school dance. Tom Fasinelli went into the dance, threw up in the school.
Sounds familiar.
Dusty Rhodes got a hold of him.
You got caught, huh?
I didn't get caught.
You got caught.
Tom Fasinelli threw us all under the bus. Let me tell you this, though. This is how I got caught. I'm sitting in Hector Riaseco's Spanish class in the afternoon. And so I'm sitting in there, and I can see right out the door. I swear to God. So I'm sitting in there nervous, and I see my Big Rick. Where are you, Big Rick? My brother comes and stands right in front of the door, and he goes, and then walks on. And like 5 minutes later, Dusty Rhodes knocks on the door and says, "Excuse me, Senor Riaseco, is Tom Thayer in this class?" And he goes, "Yes, he is. He's right there." And he looks and he goes, "Son, come with me." And that was it. We went down to the office, and Bob Tobin was another guy, so we all got suspended for a week. And never got suspended after that.
Mike, did you ever have the pleasure of getting suspended?
No, but I should have.
You just didn't get caught. Hey, like Fasinelli threw you under the bus?
Right, boys? Right?
Where's your 92 group here? You want to point them out?
There's some over there, probably all over, spread out. But yeah, no, there was, they decided to do was it prom or homecoming? I can't remember. Please help me out. Prom? They take us down to Chicago on the boat, and then they let us walk the boardwalk or the sidewalk along Lake Michigan, and it wasn't good.
No,
it wasn't good. And you remember that? And just good times, but
sure,
we didn't get caught.
Well, I didn't either.
I didn't either. I'm not going to say who ratted on me, but his last name began with a P and ended in Ilara. Yeah. And I hope he's here tonight because I'll tell him that to his face. So anyway, Tommy, Mike, first impressions as you come back here. We see the banners, the state championships. Dan Sharp talked, Matt Szymanski talked, the board. Your impressions, Mike, I'll start with you. Just recollect walking in the building here.
You know, everybody knows I haven't been back in years, and it's not that I didn't want to come back. It's just life goes on. And with my 3 kids, I got a almost 21-year-old, almost 18-year-old, and a 16-year-old. So, and they're both active in sports, and it's just very busy. And also myself, I coach high school football, head coach, and so a lot of times it's so I appreciate it. So it's just it just time gets away, and but I am so blessed. I really am for Sue to call and she texted and called and I finally gave her a date. I know I drove her nuts, but the thing is, it's I'm so happy to see a lot of people and be here, and I hope I can see everybody while I'm here and reminisce and tell about things, because this is where it all began. The roots, and I'm very fortunate to come from this side of the world, or wherever you want to say, the country of Chicago, and grow up here and be everywhere I'm at right now to give that and pass that on, what I've learned here, to my kids that I coach nowadays. So it's been a long time. I've come in and out for 1 or 2 days for holidays, but it's been a little bit.
Tommy?
You know, for me, I never left the area, so it's awesome to see the growth of Joliet Catholic Academy and just everything that it's meant to the male and female population of the school. The success the school constantly have, from the cheerleading competition recently to the wrestling program here now. Because when Mike and I were in school, just so much was just profiled about the football program, but to see the growth and the potential of this school, it's impressive because it means so much to the community. It means so much to the area. Every single chance that I get on the radio or a broadcast and something positive happens at Joliet Catholic Academy, I bring it up on the radio. I talk about it. You know, a couple weeks ago I was talking about Ty Isaac on the radio because I want to see him be successful. And so I don't think anybody that ever comes through this school leaves it in their rearview mirror, because it's always it's so important to the development of your older brothers, your nieces and nephews that have come after you. So, you know, I'm super fortunate, you know, being drafted by the Bears and staying around Chicago. But I'm also fortunate because in my broadcasting life, I got to broadcast every one of Mike's games when they played against against the Bears. And he carried such a reputation with him that players on the Bears used to ask me about Mike Allstott, about the reputation he had, about defensive backs being scared to be in the path of Mike Allstott if he did get to the second level. So it's neat for me to see the success of Joliet as a whole, you know, and as much as the school has grown.
You know, you talk about that. You talk about the young Isaac, right? You know, my brother was best friends with, you know, Tyrone Isaac, you know, his father, you know what I mean? And I got to grow up watching him, you know. It was just unbelievable, you know, seeing, you know, Big Ty, the father, running up and down the sidelines, watch my brother play and stuff like that. And they were best friends. He'd come over to the house, and then you got little Isaac doing what he's did and continue that legacy. You know, pretty incredible. And that's the things that, you know, it's what it's all about.
Yeah, I think a lot of athletes would say that went to this school. They looked up to somebody and wanted to aspire to be like them. My question to you is, was the eye always on the prize of playing in the NFL, or was it like a station-by-station thing? Okay, I'm going to succeed at Joliet Catholic, then I'm going to go on to college. And talk about what drew you to Purdue.
No, when I was, you know, a young little kid going to elementary school, I was going to the Joliet Catholic games each and every Friday, right? Sandlot football, that was where I was at. In the end zone, right, in the field right above the pit, sure, right, where the freshmen played, and playing there, just playing pickup game football, and then going on. And then I knew, and then Wednesday playoff games, I get out of school, which is great, right? And going to Wednesday playoff games and get to do the same thing. But I knew I was going to Joliet Catholic, right? Could be a Hilltopper and play. So that was my dream, to go to Hilltoppers, right? And then my next dream was go to Division I and play football. I didn't know I was going to go to Purdue, but I did want to play in the NFL, and that was my ultimate dream, is going to the NFL and playing. And it's just, you know, just the work ethic and the desire and the passion to do it.
Older brother Rick, he must have been an inspiration to you.
Yeah, oh yeah. You know, when the Pop Warner Football League started in Joliet, Rocky Carnegie came over and asked my mom and dad, "Look, you got two sons. I want these guys in football." And I think Rick and Teddy Matichak or Tommy Matichak took a picture of it in the Herald News, and you know that kind of led to the inspiration. But knowing Gordy Gillespie when I was a kid, because he was friends of my parents. But like Mike said, you'd go out to Memorial Stadium on a Friday night and you'd see those lights, and that would be the biggest aspiration and inspiration in your life, is someday wanting to play for Joliet Catholic. And, you know, when you think about guys like Bill Drasnick and Timmy Gruber and all the guys that were just a little bit older than me, but they were great football players in their own right. And so you always wanted to be like them. And then when Rick achieved what he was achieving, you know, through the success of the Joliet Catholic program, it even gave you more inspiration. And, you know, then I was introduced to Francis Rudiger, and he kind of turns your life into a weightlifter football player, and it just increases the belief in yourself that you can make it if you really want to.
After going to Purdue and putting up the numbers, did you know that the next step was going to be the NFL and nothing was going to stop you?
I didn't. I didn't. Well, I knew it was the process, but I never thought about the next step like these kids are thinking nowadays, right? I didn't think about that. Where I was at, I played my heart out. I worked my butt off. I did everything I possible to help that team, achieve the goal which is the ultimate team goal, is win games, right? And do that consistently and work hard and be the best possible teammate. But, I just let the process take place without thinking about it and overthinking it, really.
Yeah, if you take care of business, you're good. It'll work out. Talk about the rivalries, Mike, because Tommy and I were in a generation that, different rivalries, different conferences. Talk about what it meant to you on a Monday when you knew you were going to play Mount Carmel on Friday, or you're going to play a Providence or something. What went through your mind?
I was here, and help me out with the year. I'm horrible with years. What year did they come to our Memorial Stadium and take off their shirts and say, we killed the Hill?
Yeah, I remember that. Does anybody here remember that? I remember that game. 82? Dan Sharp says 82. Guess what? It's going to be 82.
So I remember that vividly, right?
I remember that too.
I remember that vividly. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Do you remember what Coach Gillespie said after that? My dad told me that. I think it got through do you know what he said? Do you know what he said? Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the great Coach Gillespie, the only way anybody could put it. After the game, I guess, they did that in the locker room. Somebody told me, he said, guess what, guys? There's 54 kids in Chicago wearing Joliet Catholic on a T-shirt. Even though it says we kicked Joliet Catholic's butt or whatever it said. We killed the Hill. There's 54 kids in Chicago that are wearing T-shirts that say the Hill on it. So we actually won. So typical Coach Gillespie. So that's the story. Is that true, Dan? It's not true? Okay, it's a good story anyway. No, but anyway, it's true. But that's what I heard. It's true now.
Sweet, Mike. And I can't recall, but I don't know the last time we played until, what was our senior year? 91 playoff season, right? 91 season. So I can't remember. I didn't play Mount Carmel other than the 91 season. I think that's the first time we got back together when we played. So we're in Gately Stadium. Barbed wire fences all around it. It's just the real deal. I mean, it's Chicago, and, turf is crappy. I mean, everything's bad about it. And we're getting our butts kicked. Simeon Rice is on the defense.
Donovan
McNabb is a sophomore quarterback. And then we're getting our tails kicked 24-6 or 24-7, somewhere around there, right, good gentlemen?
Yeah, 6 minutes left.
And all of a sudden, Hafner makes a pass to Bloom. He goes down and scores, and then we make a couple other scores, and we go into double overtime. And we killed Mount Carmel in their stadium, Gately, and freaking all of our fans rush and stuff like that. I mean, that was one of the greatest ones. Don't get me wrong. The state championship in our junior year was, the ultimate. Don't get me wrong. It was the best, especially against Geneva, a big-time powerhouse. But, going to Mount Carmel and Gately Stadium in Chicago and doing what we did, and it was like 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and being able to do what we did is incredible.
Tommy, rivalries? I mean, you know what it was like. I mean, we were in the halls together.
Yeah, we didn't have any rivalries. We beat everybody soundly. And that's the truth. I mean, we really didn't. We never, unless, the Lockport came up and they had a good program, or schools around the state that would come up that would, give us a tussle. But I think outside the 85 season of the Bears, I never walked out of the locker room as confidently as I did as a member of Joliet Catholic, because it wasn't really as how much if we were going to win, it was how much we were going to win by. Mm-hmm. For me, I go back to the Joliet Catholic Riverside Brookfield game. And
what year was that? What year was that?
I don't know. It was
2001.
Okay, so I brought Hub Arkush, I brought Jeff Joniak, I brought the entire broadcasting crew that I worked with for years, and I said, you guys, we got to see this game. And so we went to that game, parked in the quarterback's yard behind walkthrough, went to the stadium 10 deep like everybody else. And it kind of proves a point that I still talk about in broadcasting. If you want to win football games, you got to be able to run the ball successfully. And for all the games that I played at Joliet Catholic, I remember the Riverside Brookfield Joliet Catholic game, and the guys that I brought to the game with me, they still say it was the best football game they've ever watched. Joliet Catholic won 51-50, I think it was, and it went down to the last play of the game.
Well, we talked about Mike going to Purdue. How about same state of Indiana, the Hoosier State? You end up going to Notre Dame. What brought that all about? Did you have other choices, or was it a clear-cut choice?
I was fortunate because I met every coach when they came to recruit Rick, and then we had the success of the program. And for me, I wanted to, the schools, it was either going to be Purdue or Notre Dame. because I wanted to play on a natural grass field. Jim Young was the head coach at Purdue when I was being recruited, and he was a good coach, had a really good staff. And then Dan Devine kind of gave me an ultimatum. He sat me in his office and he made me look through all these pictures, and he says, well, we're going to offer you a scholarship, and I kind of want to know now. And, you know, my mom and dad never went to college, so I wasn't looking for, I didn't have the experience to go and ask people about, so I just said, heck yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's sign up. And so I did, and I had a couple other visits. I had a visit to Wisconsin, a visit to Ohio State, and one other, and I canceled them all and stuck with Notre Dame.
And the rest is history. Mike, knowing that you're going to Purdue, when that first snap, that first time you carried the ball at Purdue, the difference between high school senior year and the first time in college, was it night and day? Was it like, oh my gosh, I've got to get my you-know-what together, I need to make an adjustment? What was that like for you?
No, geez, I don't remember that, Coach.
Was it tough though? Do you remember? Was
no,
it night and
was
day?
just
The bigger crowds.
I went in to compete. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I went in to compete. I went to go get a job and to play. I didn't go in there to wait or sit. And
Yeah.
you know, my work ethic was, you know, I don't mean to toot my horn, but I worked to play.
Yeah.
And I'm coming in to play, and that's where my mindset was.
You worked in the moment. You wanted to be in the moment, and that's done. Good or bad, you go on to the next one, right?
No, I worked in the moment to
Yeah.
freaking get a starting
that's what I'm
job to
saying.
score touchdowns.
Well,
yeah.
no, that's what I'm saying. You busted your tail to work for that moment, and then good, bad, or indifferent, the next moment I gotta come through again.
No, I went in there to press.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not. It's not going to be. The word no or I can't is not in my vocabulary. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's going to be all in. You know what I mean?
What type of your workouts? Give us an idea what type of workouts that you would do to get ready for maybe a season or a game. Because the story is about pulling the tires.
Push trucks, pull tires.
Yeah, talk about that.
You know, before it was become. I mean, so in high school, I had the station wagon with one of my best friends, Ryan Brown. We're back behind Fond du Lac, you know, pushing his station wagon from telephone pole to telephone pole, which we measured out to be about 100 yards. So we'd push it out, put Metallica on, and let's grow. You know what I mean? Let's get after it. And AC/DC, and we would get Led Zeppelin and push it, and then when we got to that next telephone pole, he would get out, I'd put in neutral, I'd crank up the music, and let's roll. And we'd go all the way down that street. And then my brother gave me a couple set of tires in a weight belt and a 20-foot rope, and said, pull these things in the yard. So there was a path in the yard where I would do 40-yard, 50-yard sprints in the yard and do that every day, you know. So I rode my bike to the gym. You know, I didn't have the car. My mom and dad worked all the time. I rode my bike to the gym and spent 2 or 3 hours there and did all that stuff.
Biggest inspiration in your career?
My brother.
Why?
I think that's easy. I think that's easy for both of us.
Yeah.
It's the family inspiration. You know, it was, you know, believe me, I was the youngest in my family. I was a mama's boy. I was a crybaby. When I went to play Pop Warner football, I would be crying every single day on the way to practice. And my mom would push me out the door and she'd say, "You'll stop crying when you see your friends. You'll stop crying when you," so I did. If it wasn't for my mom, I would have never played football. But you know, when you know, Rick was homecoming king and he was athlete of the week, and when you're 2 years younger, that's what you want to be. And I knew I never was going to be that, being an offensive lineman, because I thought I was going to be a fullback because Rick was. And then when they came up and said, "Look, I think we're going to change you to offensive tackle," I really thought they were wasting some talent. But I told my dad I was going to quit, and he says, "No, you're not." He says, "Get back out there." And so I ran a couple plays from the tackle position, and then that was the biggest change for me, because I was not going to be a Mike Allstott or a Rick.
You know, it's quite remarkable, because 2 Super Bowl champs sits up here, and I think that's awesome. And Mike, I ask you, Yeah. Because I live in San Diego, so I was there in San Diego when you guys won the Super Bowl in '03.
Were you there?
I was not there. I watched it on TV. Best seat in the house. But I heard you cracking those pads on those.
Gaslight is pretty nice.
Oh, it's pretty nice. The
Yeah.
gaslight gesture, yeah, you bet. But I just see that number 40 with the huge pads, scoring the first touchdown in Tampa Bay Super Bowl history. Your thoughts running out of that tunnel onto that field for a Super Bowl?
Did they introduce the offense or the defense when you went to the Super Bowl?
Whole team.
The whole team?
Whole team.
Okay.
I know the story you're going to tell, but because you told me that story.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
You got
Mike.
pissed off, didn't you?
Huh?
You're pissed off, huh?
No, they introduced the offense.
Well, tell the story. Tell the story.
Well, we were standing there during the week of practice, and I think it was Merlin Olsen and Merlin Olsen.
Pat Summerall, wasn't it?
No.
Dick Enberg?
Yes. Dick Enberg they were gonna broadcast Super Bowl. So we had the famous defense, but we had Walter Payton. So I went over there like during the Wednesday practice, and I said to Merlin, I go, hey, who are you guys gonna introduce? And he goes, yeah, I can't tell you. And I go, come on, just tell me. And he goes, well, we're gonna introduce the offense. I'm like, well, yes, because I wanted to be introduced, you know, who doesn't? And so then I walk over, and he sees me talking to Jay Hilgenberg and Keith Van Horn. And he got so mad at me because the first thing I did is went and told those guys that the offense is going to be introduced, which, you know, that was a big highlight of the opening of the Super Bowl back then.
Any butterflies, nervous before the Super Bowl?
Yeah, no question. You know, I'm a guy that gets there early. I'm on the field 5 hours, lowers dressed, you know, taped and dressed 5 hours before the game. Every game, every year, and out there just hanging out, warming up. You know, doing the goalpost game where I'm with a couple guys and we go back and forth, kind of like around the world, but we're trying to hit the crossbar of the goalpost every game, doing all that stuff. And so just, first of all, it was long as crap, right? I mean, the Super Bowl was long, just everything that was with it. But getting out there until you get your first hit, then everything settled down. I don't know if those are the same words.
Tommy, how about you?
It was awful because you know what's weird? So nowadays, if you go to the Super Bowl, you probably can't get within a mile of the Super Bowl because of all the security and everything that goes along with it. So we played the Super Bowl in New Orleans. I took a cab to the game by myself.
This was 85, buddy.
I know.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
but there was no security. So I take a cab by myself to the Super Bowl, and I get to the stadium so early that the lights aren't even on yet.
But I even had linemen that would take the cab to different games. Yeah.
I never once took a team bus to a game.
Right. No,
never once. I took a cab every single game. And so we go to the game, and like Mike says, there's so much time going before it. And, you know, the second or third play of the game, we fumbled. The Bears fumbled, and because of it, I really screwed up this block along with Keith Van Horn. I was the reason that Walter fumbled because I just didn't sustain this block long enough. And so I remember walking off the field going, oh my God, I'm from Chicago, and I'm going to be solely responsible for the Bears losing the Super Bowl. And it's the second or third play of the game. The Bears held them to the field goal, and then we went on to, you know, score a lot. But
that's how we think. That's our mindset, though.
Oh,
that's
that play still haunts me.
Yeah.
You know, we opened up a season against the Cleveland Browns once, and I gave up a sack the first regular season game of the year.
Here all day talking about this subject.
Go.
And it haunted me. I go, oh my God, I'm on pace to give up 16 sacks this year if I give up one a game. But luckily, I didn't give up any more. But you know, I could tell you plays that still haunt me to this day.
I tell my players, I go, you know the plays you did bad, you know the plays you do good, right? I mean, come on. I mean, I'm sitting in there in the video room, right? And you just want to freaking put your head down. Hopefully the coach just goes right by you and talks about another person, right? When we're doing film review.
Well,
on Monday, right?
When you're a running back, there's only 2 of you. When you're an offensive lineman, there's 5 of you, and every single guy is gonna get critiqued. And when you have a bad block,
not critiqued, you're getting cussed out.
Right. And it's Ditka,
yeah.
And Ditka. Oh my God, it was awful. I always say you could judge how well you played by the sweat rings underneath your arms. And sometimes it was an awful experience if you went in there, if you're an offensive player and you play 75 snaps.
Do you guys do any film review on baseball?
Baseball? No, we just go out there and toss it up there.
No, nowadays they do, but it's all about the pitch that's going to be thrown.
Thanks, Matty. You mentioned Coach Ditka. How about John Gruden, playing for John Gruden? He seemed like obviously an energetic coach. hard on you, wanted the best from you. What was playing for Coach Gruden like?
Really?
You like John?
Yeah. He's a great coach. Okay. He's the best X and O's coach that I've ever been around. His philosophy and his in the way he his preparation of his plan, game plan and stuff like that, and the way he presents it, his animation, everything he does is like you saw on Monday Night Football, right? Everybody witnessed him on Monday Night Football for all those years, right? It was just his people skills a little people skills. After we won his first year, he was unbelievable. Loved him, but after that, his people skills was, again, wasn't all cracked up to be. So.
His dad was our running backs coach
His
when I went
dad
to
is
Notre
great.
Dame.
I love his dad.
Yeah, John.
His dad is awesome.
Jim
I love
Gruden.
his dad.
Yeah.
Jim's great.
Yeah.
And Jay's great. And I love them all. And I love John. I do. I really do. But, we've had some choice words.
It happens in baseball once in a while, but did the coach ever bring you into his office, close the door, and air it out?
No, I went to his office and aired it out.
Tell us about it.
I fumbled in the Saints game, right? Had a screen going down. I'm horrible with years. 05. Caught a screen, went down, playing the Saints at home, went behind, tomahawked my arm and fumbled, right? I don't go in. And I am like very good friends with my coach, my running back coach. I'm not going in. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And I'm like in his ear, freaking kind of giving him the freaking, the business. And he just keeps on like giving me this. And so John gets up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:14 and all that stuff. So I'm going to get up at 3:14 that next morning, right? And we're going to meet in the office. So I go to his office and, it was a good conversation. You know what I mean? And I didn't hear what I wanted to hear, but I was like, why did you do this? And blah, blah, blah. Why are you giving up on your players and me and stuff like that? And, and then after that is when I kind of,
Did it change for him?
You guys have been with coaches that you've lost a little respect for because you just don't get the freaking feedback. And that's why I don't give my kids. I tell my kids, hey, play better. You'll get in. You'll do whatever. You know what I mean? And I just didn't get that. You know what I mean? So
it's quite simple, isn't it, Tommy? Just play better.
Yeah, Dick was a guy who never called you in the office. He had it out in front of you, in front of everybody. And I think when you're sitting there being yelled at in front of your peers, it's super challenging. We had a guy once, we were in a team meeting, and his name was Paul Misliago, I think, and he was not running hard enough on the kickoff coverage team. And so he said, is this as fast as you can run? Are you giving me everything? And he's going, yeah. And Dick didn't agree with him. So after the meeting was over, he's getting ready to walk out. He turns on the light and says, hey, Paul, I need to see you out in the hallway. And he cuts him in the hallway loud enough for everybody to hear it, but not in front of everybody. So he never hid behind a desk or an office door. It was in front of everybody. So, it was pretty challenging.
I want your guys' opinion because you guys played long ago, but do you like the way the NFL is going right now with the rules, with the way they're protecting players? I know there's positives, negatives, different.
I'd be playing now if the rules were still going on.
You would like to play now?
We would be playing now if that thing was still going on. 14 padded practices a year and all that stuff.
It would have made your career go from 12 years to 15.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we both played 12 years. The thing is, I started college 3 days. And, and I'm 12 years older than you. So, you did the same thing, right?
Right.
3 days. But at the same time is when I went with Dungy took over the program, right? In the first 6 years of my career. And he didn't believe about taking off the pads. We went pads every day, right? Until, a couple years later. But the thing is, we hit every day. It wasn't like one hitting, 2 days off, one hitting, 2 days off like it is now. Yes, it would have saved because you know what? I would still have a neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who rung your bell the hardest when you got hit and it was like, oh my God, knocked you in the next week?
So I was in Soldier Field. I was in Soldier Field my rookie year when we were in orange and white. And Ron Cox, anybody remember that name, Ron Cox?
Number 54.
Ron
Yep.
Cox. Big head, right?
Yeah.
Big head. He comes in, not Brian, Ron, right?
Yep.
He comes in, wham, hits me, like headbutts me, like kind of like what Brian always used to do. Brian always used to like headbutt before he freaking hit people, right? And headbutts me, hits me, and I come back and I'm like, Trent, he called K5, which is Spider 3, right? If everybody knows Spider 3.
Of course.
Or you know what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah, I go in the flat. We run the corner and everything like that. You guys have never heard
Like
this
a plus
Spider
and minus
3,
pass.
right? So, I have to go in the flat. That's all I have to do. And I'm like, Trent, where do I go? He's like, go to the left in the flat. Thank God he scored. And then I got the old freaking doctor came to me. And, hey, what's your phone number? And oh, you're good to go in. You know what I mean? Other than like today's stage, you know what I mean?
Tommy, do you remember getting knocked around?
No, I remember the Sam Mills used to be this little short linebacker that played for the New Orleans Saints. And I played against him in the USFL a bunch, but I was playing against him for the New Orleans Saints. He's the only guy that hit me directly in the face mask that stretched my face mask out and knocked it off my helmet. And it's only happened one time in my life. And, he was always short. He's always going to win the game of leverage on you, but he was just so powerful that, and he was so courageous that he would light you up. He's unfortunately passed away, but he was a guy that, thankfully, the USFL came around. He's been able to develop his career, then went on to become a multiple-year All-Pro with New Orleans Saints.
Talk about that Super Bowl.
I played against Sam.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at Carolina.
Yeah. That guy's a stud, man.
He's awesome.
That's why I think, football, no one is out of the realm of possibility of playing. When you look at Sam Mills, and he's about 5'6", 220. You're never too short.
I think of Darren Sproles, right?
Even
No,
Tariq.
he's
5 foot nothing,
he's
right?
a linebacker.
But it's a lineman. Oh, yeah.
Linebacker.
Linebacker, yeah.
I know nothing about football.
Well, obviously.
That's why they moved the team out of San Diego.
That's right. Touche.
I'll tell you what, the funnest game was ever in San Diego I played, though. I don't know how
Great
they
city to go to?
Oh, it was awesome. We were at Torrey Pines for the Super Bowl at the golf course resort.
Yeah.
Torrey Pines for the Super Bowl, and then Gaslight District, right? And
Very
then,
nice.
And then that stadium was unbelievable.
Loud.
No, but I know it was old and everything, but it was awesome to play for it, being in California and doing all the thing.
You know what sticks out to that game?
Tell me.
Mike, is John Lynch, who's a San Diegan. He's playing in his own backyard. He went to Torrey Pines High School. John Lynch is now the general manager of the 49ers. He was mic'd, or they had a sideline mic.
Yeah.
Did you hear this audio? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I probably have, but I don't recall.
It's unbelievable. It's like in the second quarter, you guys are kicking the Raiders' tail. And Lynch goes towards the sideline. He says to Gruden, he goes, Coach, they are running every single play. They're lining up. We know exactly what's coming, what we did in practice this week.
So
we know every single
Let
play.
me tell you about that.
Tell me.
All right. I love you.
So excited.
Hey, so we're practicing at a small college in San Diego, and this is the first time it's ever happened. So Gruden on Friday, I think it was Friday or Thursday. It doesn't really matter. It was one of the practices. He actually becomes quarterback and becomes Gannon, right? Becomes Gannon and does a 2-minute drill, right? And does everything. And he's out there. He's huffing and puffing, throwing things. I mean, animation. And he's great at it, right? And don't get me wrong, guys. I didn't mean to misconstrue me and Gruden, but the thing is, again, everybody hits heads with Gruden because that's the type of guy he is. And he was out there doing everything possible for about 15 plays and doing all this stuff and marching up and down the field. It was incredible. We were all like offensive because we're not in there, right? Going, holy crap, you know what I mean? This is pretty cool. And he's doing that. And then you talk about that, right? Yeah. But the players that when we come together, they talk about that. That was the difference maker in what he did and what he saw, because he trained Gannon to do what he did, you know what I mean? And then you have an O-line coach, what's his name? The O-line coach, and he took over for the Redskins this year when Jay Gruden got fired. Who was
Bill
that?
Callahan.
Yeah, he was at Wisconsin. He recruited me. He was so pissed when I turned him down, right? And when I said I went to Purdue, he cussed me out. But anyway, it's another story. But anyway, yeah, he went there and he took over that team, but he doesn't know the intricacies of John's offense. John just does, and that's why he's so good at what he does. You know what I mean? And he was doing what he was doing, and that's where you get that little tidbit, what you just said.
It was a great piece of audio and great piece of footage there. You know what's always intrigued me about football players like yourself? I mean, the playbooks that you guys get. I mean, it sounds, for the average Joe fan, this Hard Knocks show that they have, it's kind of neat to hear like the plays. It's all Greek to me, but talk about the playbook and how you guys study for that and how many plays. And I mean, that's got to be a grind, not only on the field, obviously physically, but mentally.
Well, it's different because in our day we would call one play in the huddle, then we would have an alert color that if they wanted to change the play at the line of scrimmage, and they would call that alert color, and then they would use the terminology to go to the next play. Nowadays, there's 2 plays called in the huddle every time.
And you guys hear the word kill.
Yeah.
Right?
Kill,
you guys heard that over
Omaha.
the speaker. Kill,
Yeah.
kill, kill. So we're calling 2 plays in the huddle.
Right, and then as they hear kill, then they're gonna go to the second play called. So to me, I think John Gruden.
Or you do that little thing on the chest. All right, fastball.
Right.
All right. Or slow,
shake, or
curveball, right?
bang the
Where
trash
it
can.
does on your chest, you know what I mean?
No, you
or
bang
you hit
the
the trash can, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
know that the breaking
You know,
ball's
the
coming.
terminology, though, is so difficult. You know, the only analogy is if they said, okay, I want in 3 months you're going to move to France. I want you to speak French fluently and know what you're saying and know how to understand what you're saying. Because that is the difficulty of terminology today in NFL offenses. They are just so difficult, and sometimes I think the coaches are saying the same thing they did 30 years ago. They just want to say it longer so they can put their footprint on offense. And I think Gruden was one of the guys that was most guilty of that, of anybody bringing in exaggerated terminology.
So it's literally, I remember when we won our Super Bowl and Brad Johnson goes to the podium and he has to do his little speech and he calls out this like 2-sentence play, right? And it goes on and on with all these little tidbits. So you just got to know which one refers to you, right? And break it down. It's like, all right, there's the play, here's what I do, and if there's anything else, if you're X, Y, or Z, or in all the little different, categories of the play that refer to you. But all he has to remember, hey, it's power right or power left, or if it's, if it's trap or counter or whatever it is, right? That's all he has to know, which way it's going, right? Odds to the left, evens to the right, you know what I mean? That's all he has to remember. But
well.
If it's 3-step protection, 5-step protection, or if it's 7%, all right, 60, 90, 80, that's all he has to remember. 60, I'm good. I got the guy in front of me. Right? Who's the mic? You know what I mean?
I've got a headache.
Well, I don't know about that. I think there's a little bit more details because the defenses used to move a lot more up front when we were up there. So if you have a defensive lineman here and then he ends up here by the time
let
the
it.
ball
He's a commentator. He knows how to get your goat. Don't let him fool you. Don't let him fool you.
I'm a football player first.
I know you.
Since we're talking about plays, what was the play called in the huddle, if you can remember, when the Fridge went in for the touchdown? Hey, give it to Fridge up the middle. What did McMahon call?
Well, it was just basically a 31 lead, as simple as that. But there's different plays that he ran because Dick was doing everything to set it up. The first play, he was a blocker against the 49ers because he's getting back at Bill Walsh. The second one, he was going to be a lead blocker against the Green Bay Packers. Then he was going to carry the ball. Then he was going to catch a pass. But
you're bringing up bad freaking stuff here for the Chicagoans, for Walter Payton right now. You're bringing up bad
I
stuff.
talked to Coach about that right here, and he answered the question. He said he felt bad about it. And Tommy, you probably know more about it than I would.
what's sad about that is I have, I think maybe the only one, a reel-to-reel copy of the Super Bowl. And so nowadays you see what they do after the Super Bowl, all the glitter, the family comes down and the trophies are presented. When we won the Super Bowl, both teams just went off into their locker rooms. And so when you watch this video that's running, is you see all the press, they're surrounding Richard Dent, they're surrounding Fridge, and Walter Payton's walking in the locker room basically by himself, unsurrounded by media. And it was really sad. And I think even when you go back and you look at it 35 years later, you know, it's unfortunate, but...
Now, did you, and this is my question to you, did you realize that he didn't score and Fridge was going to score before him during that? I'm not saying,
No.
hey, you're going to boycott the play and everything and say change the play, but I'm just saying, did you I know it's so much time and it's going so fast. I understand that.
No, because you got it early on that it was their intentions to take Walter Payton completely out of the game. And it was their sole purpose. Anybody else is going to beat us. So you look at other, you know, Matsui had an 11-yard touchdown.
I'm taking your job, by the way.
You know,
You're doing great.
But you know, that's what it was. I don't think everybody was only concerned about winning the game. They weren't, you know, they didn't want Walter to win the moment. But looking back at it, I mean, it would have been just a salute to Walter for him to score.
Could Jim McMahon have gotten in the huddle, or did it ever happen during the course of that year where he did change a play? And would he have the cojones to call that?
You want to hear a story about McMahon? You talk about guts. So the only game we lost that year was the Miami Dolphins. And so we had a string of 800-yard games in a row for Walter Payton. He needed one more to break the record. And so McMahon didn't start the game, and then he talks his way into the game. And it's the fourth quarter. Walter's got he was injured. He had some type of shoulder injury or something. So we're in the fourth quarter, and Walter's got 92 yards. And Ditka calls a pass, and McMahon goes, look, guys, we got to get Walter this 100 yards. And so McMahon changes the play and calls a run. So Ditka, you can see him on the sideline that he's just going crazy because he knows that Jim didn't call the play that he called. And so Jim hands it off to Walter Payton. And Ditka's going crazy, and Walter got 6 yards. So now he's got 98 yards. So Ditka calls a timeout. He brings him over the sideline. He's just berating him, yelling at him as he's going over there. And he's, oh, yeah, just relax. Calls a pass play. Jim comes into the huddle, and he goes, all right, you guys. This is going to be ugly if it doesn't work. You got to help me out here. He calls another run. You can see again on the sideline, there's Ditka going crazy because he knows what he can do. McMahon hands the ball off to Walter. Walter gets a 6-yard run and gets 100 and something yards. And Jim comes back in the huddle and goes, okay, now let's try to win this thing. So, you know, in the biggest moment of the regular season, Jim was all for Walter. But in the Super Bowl, just because the first goal line play, it was supposed to be a pass by William Perry. As he pitched the ball to William Perry, they covered Emory Moorhead, so he just kept it and ran. So, you know, they were trying to be creative, but it just...
I'm sorry, I'm a little kid because I was a little kid when they were winning that Super Bowl in '85. I mean, how cool was it to be in the huddle with McMahon? I mean, just his perception from outside was just unbelievable. I mean, just, you know, his cockiness, what he did with the commissioner and all that stuff. I know it was all a game, but the thing is, what a great dude, huh? I mean, he was going to go to war with you guys, right?
Yeah, he was a different guy, man. He was just a snuff chewing, beer drinking,
oh, no, I can relate.
One-eyed. You know, when Jim was a little kid, he poked himself in the eye with a turkey fork. And his brother said, don't tell Mom or she's going to kill us. And so they sat there, and he ruined his right eye, so he always had those sunglasses on. That's the reason he brought, you know, he brought his personality with him. As soon as his senior year football over was BYU, they made him leave the school. It wasn't. He just said, look, you got to get in. He went back and graduated. But, you know, to me, going in the huddle the first time and looking across the huddle at Walter Payton, he was the guy that was the most mesmerizing to me because I just couldn't believe that I was in the huddle looking across and there was Walter Payton. It was amazing because, you know, Jim was closer in age to me. And it's kind of funny, Andy Reid was the left tackle for Jim McMahon at BYU. Yes. And Andy Reid went on to coach Jim McMahon when he was the quarterback's coach for Green Bay, and Jim was a backup quarterback.
Right?
Yeah, and he told me Andy Reid walked into the first meeting, and Andy Reid started to get the meeting going. He goes, look, Andy, you're not going to teach me anything about playing quarterback, so just start the meeting and help these guys. So, just all the history's back with him, from his college experience all the way through the pros. And
You keep in touch with McMahon?
yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Mike, who were you mesmerized by, or like when you were on the field, looked across the line, or somebody on your team that you said, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so that I've been watching for so many years? Anybody come to mind?
No, I think that, when I was sitting on the sideline watching Barry Sanders, right? Barry Sanders in our division, Detroit. Brett Favre. Brett Favre was playing at Green Bay. That was a long time. And a lot of those guys, it was like, hey, rather than sitting on the bench after you got done talking to your coach, and you went and took a knee on the sideline and you watched. And, early in my career, probably Barry and stuff like that, and then Brett Favre, and then our defense just doing the things they were doing against other teams and stuff like that. But, we just we had a lot of great players we played with. I played with at Tampa Bay. But, it was all good, with a lot of things. But, just watching 30 for 30 and stuff like that, and watching McMahon and being here, that's what I was interested in.
We sent out an email and to post some questions, so we got some emails.
I thought you were just checking your phone, someone, trying to call you.
Yeah, it says milk, eggs.
Right. Mark, meet you at the Gaslight District.
Yeah, that's right. This is from Danny Wilson. Is Danny here? I know his sister's here. Is Danny here?
Stand up.
Danny.
Show yourself, Dan Wilson.
There, Danny.
He wants to know, Tommy, if, let's see, if being Joliet Catholic's kicker and kickoff specialist was the highlight of your football career.
Yeah, you know what, Danny, I was trying to sell this to the Bears special teams coach, Chris Tabor. Remember the double approach we used to have kicking the ball? We'd have one coming from the right and one coming from the left. Because I still think that'd be a great idea in the NFL, but I was probably the worst round-toed kicker in the history of Joliet Catholic, because if you didn't have it square, it was just spinning off your foot out of bounds. But it didn't matter because our defense was so good, we could give them the ball back and they wouldn't score.
Are you guys still students of the game? I know, Tommy, you work in the industry but Mike, growing up, were you a student of the NFL, of football? Did you read the periodicals? Did you read stuff about the game?
No, I was into my level of play where I was at. So if it was high school, if it was college, or if it was pro, but if I was talking about a game plan, yes, I was a student. You know what I mean? Watching video, preparing for the next opponent, doing that stuff. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was a big component of that. Yeah.
Tommy, history of the game. Are you one that loves the history of the game and studied it? And
yeah, I am. For Coach Dick and Dick Stanfield, my offensive line coach, mental errors are unacceptable. Physical errors, they'll get you coached. Mental errors will get you cut. So you had to be a student of the game. And then being in the broadcasting business, so this is my 23 years of doing it, the Bears have had losing seasons, quite a few of them. And I think you have to study more during a losing season than almost you do during a winning season, because everything is so positive that's happening. And nowadays, the technology of being able to study football in the NFL, when Mike and I began playing, you had to wait 24 hours for the reel-to-reels to be developed, and then they made like 2 copies of them.
That's not true.
No, when I started, it was reel-to-reel. What was it for you, Beta?
I love you. You're great.
What was it for you, Beta?
It was Beta.
I know you're not in the
I'm not reels.
You're not in the tablets of today.
I didn't have to wait 24 hours. I love you.
Well, and it was something you made reel-to-reel, and they made like 2 or 3 copies, so you did have to sit there and wait in line. Now, with the tablets you have, by the time you get on the bus, with an hour after the game, it's already on your tablet.
How about that now?
It's
yeah, you're
awesome.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you're getting your work done 48 hours, 24 hours earlier than you did at least when I began playing.
Here's a great, and so when we, 04, Shanahan, right? Shanahan, the coach for San Francisco, right, that just went to the Super Bowl, was a GA for us, for Gruden, right there. I would come into the facility at like 5:45 every morning, 6 o'clock. 5:45 and get a 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock workout before 7:30 special teams, because I had to eat breakfast in between. So I'd come in there every morning, and so again, people understand, All right, we play on Sunday. All right, Monday come in, you get a lift, and I don't know how it was with you. All right, you get a lift. All right, watch the film. All right, and then you're out. Right, and then come in Tuesday. Tuesday is technically your day off unless you're injured. All right, and then Wednesday start. So your Monday in the world world, right, is our Wednesday. Right, so when it came down to that, on Wednesday morning, as I was coming in, Shanahan, all right, Kyle, was freaking throwing old school playbooks, paperback playbooks, binders and everything into the locker room, right, in doing that. I mean, it was pretty incredible what he was doing.
God, he must have been, what, in a early 20s or late teens or something.
So 04, I was 30, I think, right? Yeah, right?
I don't think there's any math experts up here.
So, right? So,
Ski?
come on, tell me. Come on, you're supposed to be my guy. I mean, you don't have.
Well, I thought we'd have
on your notes here.
No, I know, but
when
I
was in 04.
I thought we'd have a little fun here. Little football trivia, NFL trivia.
Oh,
okay?
Jesus. You know he's gonna know this.
I don't mean to put anybody on the spot.
This is his job.
But we're gonna try something here. Name is your buzzer. Okay. Question is posed. Name is your buzzer. You know, Tom,
Right.
Mike. Okay. So, for instance, here's the first question as a trial. Tampa Bay's football team's nickname is what?
Buccaneers.
Oh, you got to say your name.
Tom.
Name is your buzzer. Tom.
Yeah. Buccaneers.
Okay.
We got to say Mike.
No. Yeah, okay. Name is your buzzer. The Chicago football team's nickname is
Mike. Bears.
No. There you go. There you go. All right. Good go. All right. So we did a practice round.
Okay.
Okay. Now it's for real. Who is the smartest NFL player on the stage?
Mike.
Most wins as a head coach in NFL history.
Tom.
Tom.
Don Shula.
Don Shula,
I was
correct.
there. I was playing in
Really?
the game against the Philadelphia Eagles, part of the Miami Dolphins.
Okay. Which team features a logo on only one side of the helmet?
Mike. Steelers.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. See?
Why do I got to say Mike?
Because that's your buzzer. Because we don't. It's not like we're ding. We don't have that. So it's a Catholic school. There's not that in the funds. We don't have the buzzers.
What's going on here, Sharp?
Last non-QB to win the MVP in the last decade. The last guy to win MVP.
Mike. Dexter Jackson.
You didn't say your name.
Mike. Dexter Jackson.
Incorrect.
Mike. Dexter.
Incorrect.
I don't know.
You got to say your name first. Tom, I don't know.
Tom, I don't know.
Adrian Peterson, 2012. The last
Really?
non-quarterback to win an MVP.
Wait, who's the second?
That I don't know. You'll have to look that up. It's called Google, Mike. What team won 3 Super Bowls in the 90s?
Mike. Patriots.
Tom, Redskins.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Oldest franchise in continuous operation with the same name and same location.
I didn't hear a word you said.
Oldest NFL franchise in continuous operation.
Tom, Packers. I heard it out there.
Packers.
I heard it out there.
1919.
Cheaters.
Thank you.
First quarterback to pass for 5,000 yards in a season.
Mike. Montana.
Tom Marino.
Nope.
Drew Brees.
Nope. Warren Moon. Oh. Yeah. Which NFL player legally changed his name to match his jersey number?
Ocho Cinco.
Mike.
Tom.
He played for Cincinnati.
Yeah, but
what the heck's his name?
Ocho Cinco.
Ocho
Chad
Cinco.
Johnson.
You got to go to the bathroom? Oh, you're standing up? Mike stands up because his leg kind of gives him some problems sometimes. Okay.
He's got a Jimmy leg.
How many yards do you need to get a first down?
Mike. 10.
Okay, good.
What the hell is that question?
Easy for me.
Right.
What was the name of the shipwrecked boat on Gilligan's Island?
Tom, U.S. Minnow. USS Minnow.
Incorrect.
Mike. Gilligan.
USS Minnow.
SS Minnow.
SS Minnow.
Yeah. Who sucks more, Joliet West or Mount Carmel?
Mike. Mount Carmel.
I agree.
No.
Tom, agree.
Do you agree?
Yes. Mike. Mount Carmel.
Mike, okay.
I don't care about Joliet West.
Okay. This is a good one. Steelers helmet, on their helmet, what order of colors are the diamonds on their helmet from up top to bottom?
Mike, all black.
Nope.
Tom. Red, yellow, black.
No.
I thought there was one.
Yellow, red, blue.
See?
You did, yeah. Who is funnier, John Belushi or Chris Farley?
Mike, Chris Farley.
You agree?
No way. John
Okay.
Belushi.
Describe a free kick. Describe a free kick. Tom?
Tom.
Okay. What's
Free
a free
kick. What's a
Kick it
free
af-
kick?
Kick it after a safety?
Not only that, but there's another situation.
I don't know.
Why are you getting so
Do you know?
technical?
Well, because it's fun.
Do you know?
Let's say the team's punting from their own end zone.
He just likes
and
to
they
make us
punt,
look stupid.
Right? They fair catch. They can get a free kick from that spot
Oh,
with
right.
no
It
defense.
happened this year.
Yes. So that's
Yes.
free. Sorry about teaching former NFL players the rules.
It's the way, the teachers know. It's the
How
way
many
that-
times did you have to Google that? Baseball player?
It's the
Yeah,
way
I
the
know,
questions
I know,
are
yeah.
asked.
Is global warming a thing?
Mike, no.
Okay. Coprastastophobia is the fear of what?
Oh, my God.
Jim,
Those are two big
Jim
words
Morello
for
should
me.
have taught you this in biology. Coprastastophobia is the fear of what?
Too big of words for me.
Constipation. Statue of Liberty was a gift to the United States from what country?
Tom, France.
France, very good. Best teammate.
Mike.
Steve McMichael.
Oh, very good.
Love
Okay.
that guy.
I love that guy,
Love that
too.
guy.
I love that guy.
He's the only guy. This is a great story about Steve McMichael. So when Dick was there, we used to practice live. It was full go, man. It was just strap it up, fill your helmet up, tie your shoes tight, tape your hands up. So we're going once, and Dan Hampton and Steve McMichael are running a stunt on the inside. It's where two defensive linemen exchange responsibility. So Steve McMichael's coming towards Mark Bortz, and Mark Bortz comes and cuts him right at the knees. His legs go up, his head goes down. Steve McMichael pops up, puts his foot on his chest, and grabs his face mask and pulls so hard he pulled his face mask off his helmet. And Mark Bortz got up and was chasing him around the practice field like a fighter pilot.
What kind of helmets did you have? Because you've already talked about two face masks coming off.
No,
What
I got hit one, but this was Steve McMichael just pulling it off.
Holy smokes.
Hey,
That's
Tech,
incredible.
yeah.
Hey, that dude is real, though.
McMichael?
McMichael. He's
Yeah.
the greatest, right?
Whew.
I mean,
Yeah.
just what was it, 30-30 for Bears for the 85 team or
Yeah.
something like that, or it was talking about all that stuff?
Yes.
I mean, he's just real.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's great. I love him.
I tell you what, you better.
Remember Angel Hernandez, the umpire at Wrigley Field, he's saying, take me out to
Yes.
the ball game, and he got on the umpire, and the umpire kicked him out of the game, kicked him out of the ballpark.
I'm going to have some speaks with that guy after the game,
yeah.
and they looked at him and threw him out
Hey,
of it.
before we go any further, we got 50-50 to draw. Do we have a 50-50? Matt, do you have a ticket? Sue's supposed to have it, so stay seated, okay? Because we're not done.
McMichael, he's like, I mean.
Hey, you guys shoot the breeze, man.
Yeah.
I can turn off my mic.
How is that in the locker room? How is that in the locker room with him? You know what I mean? Because
Matt, just
it's
grab
all
it.
about that.
Oh, man, Steve McMichael, you love, Steve McMichael.
No,
and
he's
Dan-
either great, but if he has a beef with you, it's coming out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He and Dan Hampton are a lot alike. I mean, the guy kind of fed off of each other. The two defensive linemen that, would tough and rumble and stare down the opponent and everything.
No, but against you guys, though, you ever get in with him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to. I mean, because it was, like I said, Ditka was the real deal, man. It was live practices. It was nothing, like you talk about going to training camp. My first training camp with Ditka, we went 22 straight days of doubles.
Yeah.
Where we had weightlifting and conditioning after every practice, and it was, it was just something that you.
So I was with Dungy the first 6 years. Dungy did not at all. I've heard Dungy cuss twice, and it was with the offense-defense line fighting, and he went off. All right, he doesn't like that at all, and obviously Dick.
Well, with Dick and McMichael, I could hear that 2 swear words in the same sentence, almost every sentence.
Right.
All right, if you have your red tickets out, 604-002, 604-002, you're going home with over $1,400. 604-002. Have them see Sue Bar right over here, right over there on the right. Guys, you know what? We've got a video coming up, but hey, any last thoughts? Mike, you have a foundation, right? Your family has a foundation. You want to tell us about that and what you do and what it means to you?
I've been doing community work, just like probably all of us do, that in the Tampa Bay community, where we do a lot of stuff with...
Hey, listen up here. Mike's talking, all right? Thank you.
Where we're doing a lot with children, all right? We do a lot of stuff with foster killed children. We do a lot of stuff with Big Brothers Big Sisters. We do a lot of stuff with Special Olympics. But a lot of kids that we can put... And my thing is putting smiles on kids' faces and helping them reach their full potential. But we also do stuff with firefighters on Thanksgiving. We go out in St. Petersburg and we give turkey dinners to all the firefighters because they have to buy their meal. They have to be away from their family in the Thanksgiving times and stuff like that. So we go around all the firehouses and give them turkey dinners. So we do a bunch of stuff, but majority of ours is with children and trying to make a difference in the Tampa Bay community. If we all can do a little bit part, we change the world.
Good stuff, Mike. Tommy, would you like to share any last thoughts?
Yeah, Fair Brothers Deli and Grill. It's over at 6 Corners. We're there every day. Come over and say hi to me and Big Rick and the family, and come over for some good soup and some good food.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention something, but I don't mind it to be a downer, but what your mom meant to this community, I had gotten word.
Yeah, we are lucky.
Yeah. I had gotten word, and I sent you a text, and it was quite a testament of the crowd and who showed up to your mom's funeral. It just goes to show you what kind of a lady she was, well respected and loved in the Joliet area and beyond. So condolences from my family, and I know she always had a smile on her face.
Oh yeah.
She could have been everybody's mom.
She loved Joliet.
That's the way she was.
She loved Joliet. She loved the people of Joliet, the whole community, and man, we're still rolling over there, and it's the restaurant is a reflection of her and everything that she wanted to continue to be.
Perfect. Mike, you want to say one thing?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, thank you. Thank you for the Joliet community. Thank you to all my friends and family and acquaintances that, since, being small and growing up through this community, and, everybody knows the impact they've had in my life. And, I've never had a chance to come back and say, thank you for what you've done to help me achieve, my life. And because, again, I understand, and I'm not hiding it. And it's not about me. I needed everybody in here, in this room, or everybody that had a part of my life to get me to where I was and to where I've my successes. But thank you so much, and it's great to be home and be a part of this. And I'll see you soon. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joliet Catholic's own Tommy Thayer, Mike Allstott. And also, we've got a video, 100 years history of tradition, great tradition here at Joliet Catholic. So sit down, relax, and relive some memories of Joliet Catholic football and what it's all about here at the Hill.
Started with my dad. He played 39, 40, 41 football team here at Joliet Catholic with the very famous Joliet Catholic alum, Tippy Madrick, was his teammate.
It goes back to the De La Salle days, where my great uncles I went to De La Salle, started De La Salle. They played sports at De La Salle, played football at De La Salle. All the way through to my son Luke, who's a sophomore here at Joliet Catholic.
Well, I knew it was going to be hard, right? Football is hard. But ever since I could walk, I feel like I always wanted to play football at Joliet Catholic, so I had to give it a shot. And all my friends were playing, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was as fun as it was hard. Basically just getting to play freshman football at Joliet Catholic was an honor, if I'm being honest. We never thought of it as a chore or a task, or it was too hard. It was just, how competitive can we be with one another? And that was the kind of group we had. We were so competitive with one another.
But there was no doubt from the time that I was a little boy that I was going to be, wearing the brown and white one day. And we had a lot of tradition here at Joliet Catholic, and they loved their experience so much that that's pretty much all I heard about growing up, and I couldn't wait to one day be a part of that.
But I remember growing up, my brothers would play. We would watch the old VHS tapes of the 87 championship game, the 90 state championship game, the 92 runner-up. We would watch those tapes, and just had a lot of fun doing it. So, certainly my goal was always to win a state championship. You go to Joliet Catholic, and you were expected to be at that level and play at that level.
I was like, honestly, I was like a little nervous because I didn't know if I would fit in and be good enough, because like I said, I started playing football in 8th grade.
When I first got here, I was blown away in terms of how much work I had to do to be on the level of the guys that I saw that were seniors, like Brandon Geis and Connor Krish, Tyler Huditz.
I think that practices is what sets the tone for, the legacy of Joliet Catholic. I think that from day one, there's expectations coming into practice, and that being a freshman, you don't really know those expectations, but you know it's something bigger than what you thought.
It was like a playground area up north, a couple of miles, because we used to have to run there.
That first 2 to 3 weeks of freshman football at Joliet Catholic was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. Doing the exercise at a captain's practice, and then going to the 2-a-day sessions at Joliet Catholic. We would walk, rarely. We had a bus, but it rarely started. But we would walk from Jefferson Street, either to Farragut or Garnsey Park for practice.
The practices of Gordy were, to me, unbelievable. I mean, back then we were platooning. We never crossed the line. No one ever crossed. I mean, even Tom Thayer or Dave Matichik ever crossed the line. They always stayed in offense, and Larry and I had the defense. And no one ever stood around at practice. From the beginning to the end, people were working.
Practices were long, especially when Coach Gillespie was there. We had long practices. Fun. You've probably heard the stories about when you get into the playoffs where the parents would pull up their cars and turn their headlights on so that we could practice out there. I'm sure you've heard all those stories. So that was part of that. Go.
Right on your drives. Now you see how that's going to be able to seal it.
We all drank out of the same water cooler. We all used the same ladle. Nobody got sick. We didn't worry about people spraying water into our mouths or anything like that. So times were different back in the 60s.
50 guys, changing in the middle of the parking lot to go out to the field, practice on the patches of grass around the stadium field so we can keep the stadium grass
kind of fresh for the games. We went full speed pretty much every day, all the time. So it was a lot of fun.
Good, Pack, good.
On the football field, the practice field, you did the same thing. Coach told you to do something, and the boys did it. And they worked hard. I mean, we worked hard each and every day, and their success actually showed their hard work and their discipline. So.
Working with him, you were fired up every day. He got you fired up every day.
They're afraid of nothing.
On a football field, I think it makes a difference when it's 4th and 1. Whether we're going to stop or whether we're going to go in. I think that is the difference, or something that we can reach down for.
Coach takes his team out to practice in weather like this. Gillespie knows the game may be played under similar conditions, and it's best to get used to them.
Now, the quarterback,
When they had the Hall of Fame, he was in the first class of the Hall of Fame inductees.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to go over and speak with him briefly just before he left. And the only thing Coach Gillespie looked at, he grabbed my hand, he said, "Keep coaching." He had such a way of grabbing your attention and making you feel like you were, on top of the world.
Coach Sharp is one of my favorite people in the world. He's a coach, he's a mentor, he's a friend. He's just a guy that you want to be around. You want to listen to him talk.
Every play's a touchdown. I mean, if it's blocked right, if it's done right, every play could be a score. Every play should be a score. We heard that one a million times.
Pushing yourself to the limit. Francis and the group there were just incredible coaches and mentors, and would drive you harder than you thought you could be driven. They create an environment where you just push each other to get better, and it was great. It was one of those things that I don't know that other teams have that. I don't know that other programs have that.
There's so many people that I look up to because, like I said, everyone that's been here has helped me so much. And one of the guys that I didn't mention, Coach Mack, he was my D-line coach, and Coach Kinsella. They both helped me so much.
It'd be a tie between Sharp and Jaws. Yeah, I spent a lot of time with Jaws because he was, quality control for the offense at the time, and obviously Sharp was the coordinator and the head guy, and so I spent a lot of time with those guys. And actually, Jaws was my sophomore coach.
They don't give up on you. I think each and every coach here that are here for the right reasons. They enjoy coaching football and at a high level. And I think you get into the program with them, so you're always giving 200% effort.
Everyone, the whole organization, they all helped me and made me become the man I am today.
Just thinking, that's what I want to do someday. I mean, I have a distinct memory of, sitting in Joy Memorial Stadium with a hot chocolate, sitting next to my dad, watching these guys come out with this victory light on the side of their helmet, thinking, when do I get a chance to do that? Yeah.
Going into a game in high school, a strong desire to perform and to uphold the legacy that was laid before me, especially coming after that state championship team.
I would think my favorite memory would be we beat Marmion. That had to have been the biggest game for us. We were tied for first, and we ended up beating them. I think the score was 19-13. There was some great players on that team. I was a sophomore on the varsity. That was a great memory as a player. I remember us beating Carmel of Mundelein for the championship of the division. We won, I think it was 26-20. We defeated Rockford Boylan, I think it was 1975, maybe 1976 in the playoffs. Great game, 8-7. We stopped them at the 2-yard line at the end of the game to win, and then we went on to win the state championship. That game was in the semifinals.
Yelling 2-2-2. Phelps over the tailback. Here's Pesavento. He's going to try and run. Pass into the end zone. Come on to Mackey. They all looked to Mackey. Was all alone. Tim Mackey, I think it was. And he is just embraced by Dennis Hennessy. This place is going crazy. Tim Mackey was all alone in the right-hand corner of the end zone, and Pesavento delivered the ball. The Hilltoppers go crazy, and Rockford Boylan is stunned.
What's going to happen? We had to make it. We were almost benefited from them getting to the 5-yard line and having that short field to work with, because they were so used to throwing the ball 30 yards downfield. We were big down there. There weren't a lot of room for those guys to run. So we got down to the 5-yard line. They missed the pass to the receiver, Zatone Powers, in the first play. That was a walk-in touchdown. The second play, I believe it was an incomplete pass. I could be wrong. I think it was an incomplete pass. The third play, I actually got some pressure up the middle and made Brasic scramble, and Meinerich actually had to come up and make the play to tackle him at the 1, and the clock was running. And I'll never forget this, because all of us at this age, we'd never been in a spot like this. We knew the ball was getting out, so we literally stood up and we saw the ball go, and I couldn't see anything over there. I mean, it was the longest second ever. He snapped that ball, and I saw Meinerich dive, and how he made that play, I will never know.
Oh, my God! A tremendous defensive play out there. Chris Meinerich in the end zone knocked it away. The Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers will move on to the state semifinals. Can you believe this finish? Take another look.
Brasic with no time on the clock throws the ball, the intended George, and what a play, number 9.
Chris Meinerich.
Oh, my Lord, the play of the game, I'll tell you, that was the...
Whatever we did, we were very competitive little boys. You know, getting over being tired, hurting, losing, or an injury, whatever it might be, there's no quit.
You know it's something bigger than what you thought. And I think that for me, it was great, because from the first minute that we started practice, that it was give it your all, because that's what you saw, and you saw that from the varsity practices to sophomore and freshman, that people were there for a reason, and the reason is to win and to win championships.
I remember I broke my nose at one point and had to have a nose or a mask or whatever on it. Nobody else ever had one. It was like a strange thing.
But the real aspect of that is the journey to get there and the memories that you make along the way.
Of having the expectation to win, but also having a chip on our shoulder that we needed to get it done. So that really drove us. You know, we kind of felt like the underdog. People were counting Joliet Catholic out. You know, could we really climb that mountain?
One goes back to the 1981 state championship game when Deerfield missed the field goal. And there's always pictures of it. You see all the guys coaching the sidelines that he missed it. So that was kind of a cool thing.
Incredible hostile atmosphere, hostile environment. Both teams absolutely hated each other. And really a big tilt, right? So you have probably two of the best teams in the state going at it. And it lived up to every expectation. You know, in the trenches, you know, great line play, real tough kind of smash mouth football game. You know, fans cheering against you. You know, as many fans from Morris there than there were from Joliet Catholic. It was incredible. It was an incredible environment, and a game I'll remember for the rest of my life. Yeah, exhausted. Exhausted. I've never been more physically exhausted in my entire life. Game. our season's over. And I remember in the huddle, talking with the guys, who's going to jump, who's going to jump, who's going to drive the line. And they snap the ball, and you just give everything you possibly got at a rush or a jump or something. And watching that ball as you look back fall short of the goalpost, incredible feeling, just elation, running over the sidelines, jumping on top of people. It was one of the better moments we had at Joliet Catholic.
We would have done anything for each other, and to get where we were, I mean, we were at the peak. I think it's safe to say that we climbed the mountain and we were on top for 3 years. I mean, we were here at the best time. I truly believe that.
Ultimately, you win the state championship, and there's a great sense of accomplishment, and you're overcome with a bit of emotion. That journey's over, and you're ready to start another one. The new dream starts to begin, and I think that's what kind of makes Joliet Catholic special is you know that, hey, we've got this window to celebrate and have a good time, and we'll have our rally and all that stuff. We'll put the banner up, we'll get our rings. That's going to be fantastic, and memories that we don't forget. Watching the highlight tape you made, I'll never forget that my sophomore season, and then getting the ring and the accomplishment that I felt then. But we were already, the dream was already started for the next year.
And then pulling back into Joliet Catholic, the old school, the victory light was on, and we'd all cheer that the victory light was on, and we'd sing the school song, and there was so much camaraderie.
I think that was the biggest thing at the end. Last year, literally, was before even the turn the light out became a thing, it was turn the light off.
To be part of a dynasty and to be part of, hey, Joliet Catholic is the place to be, I mean, it was special.
But that's the hardest thing I've done in my life. And it made me a better man.
Joliet Catholic kids are a family, okay? And they live for each other, where a lot of kids are just out there for themselves, not here at this school.
They don't understand it, but it's something that it'll never die within me. The things that were instilled in me, the camaraderie, all of that stuff is something that I'll hold on to and reflect back to as much as I possibly can.
So Lou Holtz says this about Notre Dame, and I feel the same way about Joliet Catholic. Lou Holtz will say, if you're Notre Dame, no explanation needed. If you're not, no explanation will suffice. I feel the exact same way about Joliet Catholic.
I think more than anything is I think it taught us all to be champions, and what I mean by that, it was just a mindset. There was not one time where I ever stepped on a football field here where I didn't think we were going to win the game.
Togethers with the other parents and so on and so forth. It made it a wonderful, wonderful time.
It wasn't about that. It wasn't about what we did as individuals. It was about the team winning, and we were able to bring it home.
The camaraderie and the friendships you develop, that's the things you take with you forever. It's not the trophies or the medals or the accolades. It's that friendships that last forever. And these guys have a great start on long friendship.
Once you're part of Joliet Catholic football, you're part of it for the rest of your life.
To our friends and families of our Joliet Catholic football program, I'd like to extend a hand of gratitude to all who have made the first 100 years of Hilltopper football a century of excellence. Tireless work ethic, perseverance, accountability, and what it means to be a great teammate. We are a program built on family. Our success has always relied on the team, not individuals. All players committed to a team approach, each doing their part to the best of their abilities. Each player working side by side for something greater than himself. We were taught these lessons of life through the game of football and our coaches, which has helped develop us into the men we are today. Our experiences as part of this program are second to none. Nothing compares to wearing the brown and white. Regardless of the results on the field, we are all champions in life. Thank you to all. Go Hill.
Thank you to Sue Bebar and Derek Matichek for putting that together. That'll be available on YouTube soon. Here's to more than 14 state championships, 14 and counting. Thank you all for coming tonight. God bless you all very much. Thank you very much.